Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. And today we are making Cowboy cornbread. Nope, we're making Cowboy candied cornbread. That's what we're making. I've made this once before for you, but I've got a lot of new viewers and I just wanted to test out these fun cupcake liners. And these are baking liners for muffins and cupcakes and all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to showcase them. I am going to a party and I'm bringing this cornbread. So here we go. That's just to keep them upright. I think I've already got the liners. Ooh, there's a hole. I want to pull these out. I'd like to have the light tan ones here for this tray. So literally, it's the parchment paper. You could probably make them yourself if you were so inclined. I am going to say, nope, not making them myself. I ordered them on Amazon. And we've got these, and I've got another dozen over there, multi with the brown and the white. So cupcake liners in, and now we get to making the cornbread. I'll try to leave a link to these in the about section below. They literally are super inexpensive and they can elevate your baking, especially if you're taking it as a gift or as to a party like I am. It comes with a little bit of, it's dressed up in a different outfit than usual. Okay. I thought that was fun. Okay, I'm going to throw this away. Get started on our ingredients. Now, I need cornmeal, of course, for cornbread. I'm going to bring you in close so I can show you. We're going to do a buttermilk cornbread with cream corn, and the star of the show is Cowboy candy. This stuff is magic. This will elevate several kinds of dishes, and I'm going to start bringing you along for some of the other things I use it for. But my go-to and my daughter's go-to is to use it in cornbread. So I just made six half pints, and I've got enough jalapenos, I think, to make 6 more because I'm already using some. We got to keep it on the shelf. It's a must. When I ran out, I almost cried. All right, let's come on in close and see how I do it. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. And I'm making a batch and a half. So I'm going to need a cup and a half of cornmeal. And I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients. There's probably a tablespoon more than, yeah. Okay, let's try. See if we can't get this a little bit more accurate. I only want a half a cup. This has measurements on the outside, which is helpful, but there we go. Cup and a half. And this recipe is pretty forgiving. I usually don't really measure a lot except for the flour and cornmeal. So we're going to grab we're doing a batch and a half. We're going to need 1. Usually I do 2 cups, so we're going to do 3. 2 and 3. There's supposed to be quite a few people at this party, so I want to have enough for everybody to have one if they want, and I want to at least have one for my husband and I to split, or 2. So, okay, now I'm going to add, and I'm using a Danish whisk. For this kind of application, this is, I think, the best tool you could actually pick in the kitchen. It has been a lifesaver for me. Okay, I want a teaspoon of salt. And this is kosher salt, so you can actually go a little bit higher. But if you've got table salt, 1 teaspoon leveled off is all you need. And you want room temperature eggs. If your eggs are too cold, you can can run them under hot water and they warm right up. So, okay, I've got baking soda. Yeah, 1 level teaspoon of baking soda. And the magic is the baking powder. That gives you some loft and makes these just puff up and become delicious. So literally, I'm using a tablespoon of baking powder. Okay, baking powder. And here we go. Let me get the cream corn opened. Any brand of cream corn. This is from Kroger, so let me, so you don't have to listen to the can opener. Okay. Mix those dry ingredients around, as you can see. Yum. Okay, and now we're going to add in our eggs. And I add them into a separate vessel. When I'm baking, I try to do that. That way, if you've got eggshell or anything or any imperfection you don't like in that egg, you're not ruining the whole batch of dry ingredients. And I save my eggshells because I get my eggs from the neighbor. I buy eggs from them, and they're delicious. They always have these beautiful orange yolks, and that's a gorgeous egg. 2 of those. And I save the eggshells, and when my container gets full of eggshells, usually it's about a gallon, like a gallon bag equivalent, I then put them in the oven at a low temperature, like 300, for about 10 minutes, and it cooks anything, and then I crush them up for their chickens, and I put it in the mailbox for them to divvy up for the birds. So, okay, you're going to need a can of cream corn. 1 whole can, yes. And that adds an element of sweetness. This cornbread is sweet and spicy. Obviously, sweet and spicy is the win. Honey, measure with your heart, but I'm usually about, let's see, I'm going to take this lid off. I usually do about a half a cup of honey in this big batch. And I would do another half a can of cream corn, but I don't want to open up a can just for that. It's going to have enough. The corn really adds a unique texture. Okay, we're going to give that a good half a cup. Thumbs up if it'll stop now. Okay, get that lid back on. And this is organic honey I get at Costco. Okay, you've probably seen it in some of my grocery hauls, right? I need buttermilk. Okay, so buttermilk, I typically have buttermilk on hand at all times because I use it in marinades. I'm going to start with a cup, but because I want to give you guys the measurements for this recipe, yeah, a cup is going to be the starter. I know darn well I'm going to need more. Cowboy candy. Yes, please. Let's just show you. This is using a 4 jars lid, of course. And there we go. We got a good seal. And, oh, I love the smell. It is so good. Okay, I'm super excited about this. Let me rinse off. I don't want to contaminate that. Let me rinse off my spatula that I used on the corn. And we'll get more. We're going to use, usually I use a half a jar, juice and all. But I'm going to use about 3/4 of a jar. That's about right. Well, maybe 2/3. Okay, it's a little over a half. I don't want it to be too spicy, just in case there's wimpy lippers in the crowd. You never know. And I'm going to save this lid for, I have to put a mark on it. I didn't label it because it was the rest of the jars I labeled and put downstairs, but I knew I was going to open this. So yeah, it's open. I'll mark it so I can use it for dry canning, meaning for dehydrated goods or let's say, canning water, you know, saving some water for short term. The water video that I showed you was for short term. I can show you storing water indefinitely from the USDA, but that'll be if you want to see something like that. Okay, now look at this batter. It's coming together. I may not need any more buttermilk. That is awesome. And what do we got? Oh, we got a big old clump of honey. I don't want that in there. That'll end up, see that crystallized? I'm going to put that over here. And yeah, we don't want that in there. I thought, what the heck is that? I got to get all my dry ingredients off the bottom. This is perfect. You want a thick batter. Way thicker than pancake, but cornmeal should have a pretty good consistency of... I'm still seeing flour coming up from the bottom, so until I don't see that, I'm not going to stop. And you can see plenty of jalapenos in there. We don't need any more. You can add cheese to this as well, but I'm going to leave it like this. I'm not going to do cheese. I don't want to add... Oh, you know what I am missing? I just about forgot. And that is oil. We need oil. And I'm going to eyeball this, but it is a good half a cup for this. Okay. And this is that olive oil I get at Costco. Let's get that in there. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. And that's going to thin out your batter a little bit, but it's going to make these extra moist. They're like, it's a cakey, if you like dry, crumbly cornbread, you would not like this at all. It's a cakey kind of a texture. I preheated my oven to 375 degrees. And normally I put my cornbread in a cast iron pan and heat it up screaming hot with some oil in it, or butter, or bacon grease usually, and then I pour my batter in and it sizzles right away and you're just getting all that sizzly stuff going on. It's good. Okay, now we can put the stuff away and get these muffins filled. Let's bring over our first tray of liners. Super exciting. Okay, there we go. And you want to fill them about 2/3 full. So we have a big, lofty kind of a situation. Try to be as clean with these wrappers as you can. They will allow this to rise up higher. So I don't have a cookie scoop that I can give you an exact measurement, but 2/3 of the way should be sufficient. Let's get our spatula and give us some help. Right? I'm so excited about these. These will cook probably 20 to 30 minutes. I'm guessing. Yeah, I need to get a scoop. That'll work. But I'm going to fill all these just like that. And we're going to get them in an oven. And if you get any of that on the paper, it will kind of burn and look like it's not appealing. So let me grab a paper towel and get that off. You know how stuff burns on parchment when you cook it? Well, that's going to happen. So you want to clean that up if you can. This one is brown, so it's really not going to matter that much. Okay, I'm going to fill the rest of these and get them in the oven, and I'll be back. Okay, literally, and this is heavy. I only got 12. I am going to make another batch, just a normal batch really quick while these are in the oven, and get some more so we have some extras, because that is fantastic. Now I know how much I can get out of this. But all the little papers are full, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see these puff up and become amazing. Okay, it is time to get the first batch of muffins out of the oven, and I put them in there. They've been in about 30 minutes, and you can get a toothpick out clean, but look how beautiful and lofty. That's a nice big muffin. Absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. That one, I made another batch, and this one is a lone stranger, so the other 7 will stay in there until they are done, because they were a good 10 minutes behind. So nice little brown toppers on them. They're beautiful. I am super excited about this. I'm going to get these out and put them on a cooling rack, and then figure out how I'm going to transport them. So if you were me, how would you transport these beauties to a party? Okay, guys, it's almost lunchtime. I'm super excited. I want to pick one for me to show you a taste test. I mean, look how big these got. And I probably overfilled them a little bit. Whoopsie. Now I know. This is the last one. It's still hot. It's got to cool. These guys over here came out first, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose one. But I wanted to, look at this. You can see how nice and brown this is around the edges through the white parchment. So you know the rest of them are like that as well. So it got a nice brown crust on it. And I think that's the winner chicken dinner. I don't see one that looks funky. This one maybe, but it's out of the last batch. So let's come in and cut one open. Hold on. Let me get a plate and some butter and a butter knife. And oh my gosh, who doesn't love a good cornbread? Piece of cornbread. So let's see how this looks when we take the parchment. Right? Just peel that off. And it probably would peel better if I let it sit a little bit longer. But parchment is a universal non-stick. And if a little bit sticks on the parchment, oh well. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. We'll see everybody doing this number. I don't want to miss out on that, though. So, what? Okay, this could be my taste test right here. I don't think it needs butter. But to be really honest, I don't think it needs butter. It's so good. Absolutely wonderful. My favorite cornbread. So we're just going to cut this muffin in half and show you the interior. Now the bottom. Look at that. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. Okay. Let's put some butter on the side that's kind of torn up. What? It's sweet and cakey, but yet full of that cornbread goodness, right? Okay, this could be my lunch right here. That is absolutely one of the best batches of cornbread you'll ever have. I hope this inspires you to try this recipe. I'll try to leave you all the amounts for a single recipe down in the description box, and I'll leave you links to the parchment papers and the whisk. And the jar opener that I used was a gift, but 4 jars makes a jar opener, and it doesn't damage your lids. So you can reuse those lids for, like I said, dry canning, meaning storing dehydrated vegetables and sucking the air out of it. Or dry goods. Maybe you bought some crackers and you're not going to be able to go through them fast enough before they go stale on you. And up here in the moisture, they go stale really fast. So I quite often will dry seal them in a jar. And I've got them whenever I want, and they're nice and fresh. Okay, I need butter. Wow. Wow. And there's just a little bit of heat. All the wimpy lippers will be really happy. All right, I'll see you next time. I hope it inspires you to try it.
Guys, I do hope if you made it this far, you'll hit that subscribe button, a thumbs up for me, and leave me a comment. It really helps me out.